Welcome to Afghan News with Mohsen Jamal. The Kabul government on Saturday demanded that Washington increase pressure on Pakistan to act against insurgents using its soil to attack Afghanistan, saying Afghans were running out of patience. Afghan President Hamid Karzai held talks with U.S. Regional Envoy Mark Grossman in Kabul just days after U.S. President Barack Obama warned Pakistan there were some connections between its intelligence services and extremists. An official at the presidential palace who spoke on condition of anonymity said that the Afghan president asked Grossman to put more pressure on Pakistan so that future meetings with them should bring a positive result. A palace statement quoted Grossman as promising that the United States will continue putting pressure on Pakistan to take practical steps forward. U.S. Embassy spokesman Gavin Sandwall said that Grossman was on a tour of the region to discuss preparations for international conferences on Afghanistan's future in Istanbul and Bonn later this year. A UK government review of the Afghan war due to be released in mid-November will likely warn that the withdrawal of NATO forces from the country by 2014 may lead to a civil war or Taliban takeover. The report commissioned by British Prime Minister David Cameron might point out that the Pashtun Belt across the Afghanistan-Pakistan border could become an autonomous region and pose a security threat to the West. On the 10th anniversary of the US-led Afghan war on October 7th, Afghan President Hamid Karzai admitted that his government and the US-led NATO forces had fared terribly badly in providing security to the country. Former US commander in Afghanistan, General Stanley McChrystal, said though several people had been killed and billions of dollars spent in the war, his country and its allies were little better than halfway towards achieving their goals. He said that the war was initiated with a frighteningly simplistic notion of Afghanistan. Two soldiers from the NATO-led International Security Assistance Force in Afghanistan were killed by an insurgent attack in southern part of the country on Saturday. A NATO statement released on Sunday about the deaths did not provide further details. The deaths bring to 6 the number of foreign troops killed in Afghanistan so far this month, with a total of 460 deaths among foreign troops in the country during 2011. Meanwhile, in a separate clash, Afghan police say 8 insurgents in an Afghan police officer were killed on Saturday in the southwestern province of Nimruz. The provincial police chief in Nimruz, General Abdul Jabbar Predili, said the deaths occurred during a gun battle that lasted 5 hours. WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange and socialite Jemima Khan led a protest in London Saturday against the war in Afghanistan 10 years after the United States and Britain went to war against the Taliban. Organizers atop the war coalition claimed 5,000 people attended the protest in central London's historic Trafalgar Square, but London's Metropolitan Police did not give a figure. Britain is the second biggest contributor of troops in Afghanistan after the United States, with 9,500 troops in the country. A total of 382 British troops have died here since the beginning of military operations in Afghanistan in October 2001, which were launched following the 9/11 attacks on New York and Washington. Western combat troops are due to pull out of Afghanistan by the end of 2014, but a survey published Thursday showed 57% of Britons want them to be withdrawn immediately. A blast struck Kandahar city, the capital of the southern Kandahar province, Saturday night, followed by gunshots, officials said. It was a rocket attack into the Kandahar city at around 9:40 p.m. local time and followed by some gunshots. Casualties are feared, the official who declined to be identified said. Meantime, Sher Shah Yousafzai, the deputy police chief of Kandahar province, confirmed the blast and added details would be made public after investigation. Kandahar, 450 kilometers south of Kabul, has been the scene of increasing militancy over the past 5 years. The United States military's unarmed Predator and Reaper drones are continuing to fly remote missions overseas despite a computer virus that has infected their US-based cockpits. Government officials are still investigating whether the virus is benign and how it managed to infect the heavily protected computer systems at Creech Air Force Base in Nevada, where US military pilots remotely fly the planes on their missions over Iraq, Afghanistan, and elsewhere. Armed tactical unmanned planes have become an increasingly valuable tool used by the U.S. military to track and attack individuals in small groups overseas, but the virus underscores the vulnerability of such systems to attacks on the computer networks used to fly them from great distances. Rob Densmore, former U.S. Navy airman, said that the infection was a common keystroke logging virus, which registers the keystrokes pilots use to control the unmanned drones from afar. The virus has also resisted multiple efforts to move it from the base's computer systems. Libyan fighters are continuing their push to capture Sirte, the home city of toppled leader Muammar Gaddafi. National Transitional Council forces managed to take control of a central neighborhood as well as a main road on Saturday, but faced stiff resistance from Gaddafi loyalists. Fighting was raging for the Ouagadougou Conference Center, which is believed to house the command center of Gaddafi's forces, while NTC fighters made progress elsewhere, capturing the nearby Sabamiya neighborhood. Abdul Basit Haroun, an NTC field commander, said 32 people had been killed since anti-Gaddafi fighters began the final push operation on Friday. Hundreds more were reported wounded. Meanwhile, Liam Fox and Ignazio La Russa, the defense ministers of the UK and Italy, respectively, held a news conference in the capital Tripoli, where Fox pledged to keep up NATO airstrikes even after Sirte's fall. At least 13 people have been killed by security forces across Syria, according to the Syrian Revolution General Commission. Gunmen opened fire at the funeral of a Kurdish opposition leader in the northern town of Qamishli on Saturday, killing 6 people and wounding several others, activists said. The shooting occurred as 50,000 people rallied against President Bashar al-Assad's government. The local coordination committees, a network of opposition activists, said. Meshal Tamo, who founded the Liberal Kurdish Future Party, which considers the Kurds to be an integral part of Syria, was killed at his home on Friday when gunmen burst into his house in Qamishli, according to activists. Activists in Damascus said Syrian authorities stepped up security in Kurdish areas in the capital. Yemen's President Ali Abdullah Saleh has said that he will meet anti-government protesters' demands and leave power in the coming days, but opposition leaders remain skeptical. In a televised speech on Saturday, during which Saleh launched a tirade against his opponents, the veteran leader said that it was impossible to let them destroy the country, whereas there were sincere men, whether they be military or civilian, who are capable of governing Yemen. Many of Saleh's opponents believe that if he does agree to step down, it will be to transfer power to a family member, while Saleh's son Ahmad and several of his nephews control powerful military units. Stopping short of a firm commitment to resign, Saleh said he would meet with Parliament in the coming days to transparently discuss the situation in Yemen. Anti-government protesters have been camped at Change Square in the capital Sana'a for nearly 9 months, demanding that Saleh step down after 33 years in power. And that protesters have scuffled with security guards at a Washington museum and marched through New York City in the latest popular demonstrations in the United States, inspired by the Occupy Wall Street movement. Hundreds of people in groups, including anti-war activists, joined the Occupy DC protest against the use of unmanned aircraft by the U.S. military on Saturday. Elsewhere, several thousand Occupy Wall Street protesters marched to New York City's Washington Square Park for a meeting which they described as a General Assembly on Saturday. The Occupy Wall Street movement started in New York on September 17th, spreading to over cities including San Francisco and Los Angeles, California, Chicago, Illinois, Austin, and Houston, Texas, Atlanta, Georgia, and Washington, D.C. And that's all for now. Thanks for staying with us.